Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Breauxs and Brews. Man, I'm your host, Abatier John Queesa, joined with my co-host,
Tiffany Torre.
Mr. Nisha Johnson could not make it here at this time, but we are joined by two special guests in which we're going to push and, pick their brains. So first we have Mr. O'Neal and we have Mr. Matt. How y'all guys doing, man?
We doing pretty good.
Hey, man, glad to have you. Think you guys can make it because you came from Lafayette, right?
Yes, sir.
Smooth ride.
Oh, yeah. Good little ride.
Okay. Nice little Sunday ride, how some people say. But we are back with episode 5?
5.
Wow.
5.
It's moving, man. It's moving.
Like
and I
that,
definitely
bro.
appreciate you guys being here.
Episode 1.
Yeah.
As y'all can see, we're at a new venue.
As well.
We're not at Stinkies anymore. We're at actually Sports Zone, which is located on 4848
Constitution Avenue.
And
It's really right across from Stinkies. It's really just right across the highway. I mean, what interstate?
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then it's a cool venue, guys. If you can, stop by. They have great wing specials, $2 domestic beers. That's why you guys see us pushing a domestic, but we also have some imported brews as well for these fancy guys. But right. But it's all good, man. So, and this week questions, we're a sponsor to our main guy, Flair, man. Appreciate you, sir.
hey, man, it's nothing, man.
Hey, look, all right, well, let's go ahead and kick it off, man.
First of all, I want you guys, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, what do you do?
Absolutely.
What are your professions, stuff like that.
All right.
Whichever one of y'all want.
I guess I'll go first. My name is Matthew Sias. I'm an insurance broker. I'm on an insurance agency, MSJ Insurance. We're in Lafayette, Louisiana. I'm also the co-founder and the president of the Millennial Networking Group.
Okay.
It's an organization for entrepreneurs, real estate agents, business professionals. I mean, the whole nine. It's basically, when you're coming out the gate, you kind of want to connect with people that like-minded, that are trying to do the same thing that you're doing. So we kind of put an organization together, just, a platform for us to do that. So,
Hey, man, it's dope, man.
First off, I want to thank y'all for having us.
Hey, no problem.
I'm O'Neal Parker. I'm a real estate investor. I can't talk. We got to edit that. O'Neal Parker, real estate investor. I've been investing in real estate for the last 2 years. I own 2 real estate companies, Parker Homes and Properties, Parker Property Group. We specialize in purchasing, renting, rehabbing properties across Louisiana. We stick to Lafayette, Baton Rouge, and Lake Charles, Louisiana at this time.
Gotcha.
And I also offer business credit repair, and business lines of credit.
Hey, man, it's dope, man.
Definitely need that.
Hey, you definitely do, man. Glad to have you guys here, man.
Of course.
Man, really. Yes, sir. Man, so, and like we said again, Flair kicking off the questions with this week. What we got, Flair?
How y'all want to do it, man? Y'all want to,
Y'all know how I do, man. So
you always come in with the hot questions.
I'm coming in with the hot. How would you feel?
I like the icebreaker of a hot question, so go ahead.
You want a hot question to start it off?
Yeah.
Hey, man, let's get the hot questions out the gate. What you want me in? What, man?
Started hot.
Started spicy.
Right.
let me dig deep into my.
All the way up from here, man.
Dig deep.
Hey, look,
You see me dig
Danny got a list, man.
I do.
He got a list, man.
Dude came prepared.
Oh,
I
okay.
wanted to ask this question. I wanted to get a different opinion on it. Does prison really rehabilitate a person? Like when a person goes to prison and they're inserted back into society, are they really rehabilitated as a person?
That's a great question.
No, I don't think prisons are doing enough.
Yeah, me
Well,
neither.
never been to prison, so I can't really talk on that. But I think so. It just depends on your mindset before you go in. Like if you take it as this is some sitting time for me to fix my life, I think it'll change your life. But some people just take it as they just chilling until their time over. So it just depends on the person's mindset, I believe. Like if you're in there reading books, taking a little college course and stuff like that, I think you'll come out a better man than you went in.
Okay.
You know,
That's my opinion.
I mean, but what if those type of institutions are not offering those type of programs?
Right.
And libraries
Could you
getting
ask for a transfer?
smaller.
I'm not. I never been to jail.
Right.
No, they actually,
Hey, look, I don't know either,
I know a
man.
little bit about it. My dad is a counselor, but I know one thing that you see a lot of is mental health that is in the prison system right now. I mean, people who are going there without mental health issues probably are getting like degrees and different things, but I think they're not solving the mental health issue. I know that for a fact.
Right,
So,
right.
I mean, you can't really rehabilitate a person if they mentally not stable to rehabilitate. You can't build on the sand. Got to be some type of foundation for that.
So in that sense, they shouldn't even be in a prison institution. They should be in like a mental
different
institution
situation.
instead.
mental situation, and I think we've it depends on the situation and the circumstance of what they're in jail for. But I know right now I see that we gonna just go ahead and
Thank
that
you,
looks
sir.
really
We
good. By
appreciate
the
it.
way,
It
I'm
sure
sorry.
does. It
really
It
does.
really took me off for a second. But anyway, I just know they're not looking at the person's mental capacity or where they at mentally when they do something wrong. That's not unless they plead insanity. But 9 times out of 10, that's not even flying these days.
Right.
So,
Which kind of brings me to this point. Like, what if a person, God forbid, shoots up an entire hotel?
I don't mental health.
So
that's
is
a-
that like?
yeah.
I mean, he can simply, say, "Oh, I'm insane. I have an issue." I think you need to be.
No, I believe in the
Yeah.
death penalty on that.
Okay.
To be honest with you, I do. I mean, even though, I know we don't give and take life, but I understand that, if somebody's willingly, there's situations where you're kind of shooting back at somebody or, just those little, little small crimes. I don't even say small crimes, but those, killing situations where it's in self-defense. But when somebody mass shooting, I think, man, that's that penalty to me personally.
Yeah.
Which would even bring me to a question that we were speaking about on the audio.
Yeah.
So, do you believe in the death penalty?
Yeah, I do.
I don't.
Okay. Yeah. I
Only
mean, I don't
because
believe
I don't
it.
think
Yeah.
that you should be able. I feel like nobody's God, so like you should be able to take life or whatever. But at the same time, like, does that really what are you just gonna kill everybody in the prison? It doesn't solve the problem.
Well,
I feel
I'm talking about there's one situation. I don't remember the young guy's name. The guy that shot up the school.
Yeah.
In that situation, I'm looking at it or the one that shot up the church and went in the church and just shot up the church.
Right.
In certain situations like that, you in the right frame of thought when you walked in there, and then you're not crazy when you walk out of there. I don't
True,
think.
true.
So
When
it's a planned situation, when you have multiple weapons, you got armor vests and everything.
True that.
I'm thinking that I think that person needs a needle. I'm just me personally.
Okay.
But I feel like that's the people they quicker to put into a mental asylum.
Yeah, and that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yes,
I'm
as
saying.
opposed to
And,
prison.
and our situations where, I know Baton Rouge has a lot of shootings going on, and our city is starting to be there too every week now. Matter of fact, just last week, I lost somebody I knew, I grew up with, to a killing. I just think that situations like that, I know it's like, back and forth situations. So I believe that person needs to be really, really rehabilitated. I think that person needs to, see a counselor every week, and that person needs to be getting their GED. That person needs to be, in a program to, finish off, the rest of their life. And then when they get out in 20, 25 years, then
Gotcha.
Do y'all believe in the life sentence?
Of course, I do.
yeah.
I don't.
I was just about to say he doesn't.
I don't.
I think it depends on what you do.
But see, my whole
Kids, raping kids, you gotta go.
I said the
Well,
same
That's another
thing.
thing. I
said
feel
the
like if
same
it's
thing.
personal to you, of course you're gonna have some type of,
Right.
this person gotta
Yeah.
die
It
or
just
he gotta
depends on
stand
what
there
you do.
forever.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think if it's heinous enough, you need life. Right.
Okay. So back to you. You say you don't believe in the death penalty, right?
No.
So say if somebody did something to a family member of yours or somebody you really close
You see,
to,
I don't
and
see
you take it a little more personally when it's closer.
I don't though.
you still wouldn't.
I feel like no matter whether
So what
they're
about they
close
do
me
it to
or
you?
not, then I wouldn't be here. Like
I'm-
that's different.
No, I'm
I just
saying,
feel
like,
like
say-
I just feel like law is law. If it's obviously we know that the justice system is corrupt, but I feel like if it was to be carried out the way it's supposed to be, then let the law take care of that.
I mean, because the point that I had, and I made on the audio was that how can someone who's 16 or 17 years old, for a crime that they committed when they were 16 or 17 years old, regardless of how, serious that it was, you telling me I got to spend the rest of my life in prison for a decision that I made, when my brain isn't even fully
Fully
developed.
developed.
Yeah.
We need to start reevaluating that situation, those kids
Yeah, me
under the age of 21.
I
because-
thought at one
even
point it
if
was
you're 25.
like 18 or something like that.
Or even if you're 25
It is 18,
and you commit a crime.
but even 18, that's a teenager. I don't think 18-year-olds should be
18,
tried as
yeah.
adults. That's just me, though.
Yeah, because, you know,
You
it's-
think you're adult at 18?
in Louisiana, you know, in Louisiana, it's 17 now.
Yeah,
you know, so I can
17,
put you on.
17.
Or if you 16 and did such a heinous crime, now I
You
can
charge as an adult.
I can
Yep.
charge you as a 17.
Well, let's
you
put
know,
it like this. I mean, in your eyes, well, I mean, I know our parents always say, "Oh, you still my child," until a certain age, it's like till you get out of my house. And so
Right.
we're starting to see people really don't leave their parents till after that college situation.
Yeah.
So
right.
typically, you graduate in college at what, like 22, 23 years
Yeah.
old.
yeah.
So then that's when you kind of start to transition your life into an adulthood, I guess you would
Basically,
say.
yeah.
And so if that's the when you transition to adulthood and that's when you're fully developed because you went through all the schooling and everything, then I think that's the age where you would say, okay, that person is
An adult.
adult in the mind, you know, and because the system, I mean, college don't even look at us as adults. I can tell you that.
No,
you know,
You
they
can't
don't-
even stay like on campus. You can't. You
They
have
have-
to stay on campus. You
They
can't.
have
yeah.
what you call those the little security people that sit at downstairs and whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If you
And
stay
a
in
little
dorm,
resident,
If you're a resident, so
All right.
you know, I just think that we should start. I mean, we should start taking a poll on these kind of situations like that, and looking at it in a different way. But one thing I wanted to say about like doing life, I don't believe life on drug sentences. I think that's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
I think-
Agree. Anything
I think-
nonviolent.
As in
That's
selling
non-
drugs?
yeah, selling drugs.
Anything nonviolent.
yeah, really,
I,
yeah.
I
I
just think
agree.
those
I mean,
you know, doing life sentences on drugs.
Yeah, I don't-
I
Even
think
if there was like a
you know,
kingpin.
Jesus said it, man.
It don't matter.
Hey,
Drugs
Jesus
are
said
going
it,
around
man.
here.
Yeah, I can't remember the song. You know, shout out to Young Jesus when he was like, you know, but where you get more time, you know, for selling dope than murder.
You do.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know,
no,
do.
really.
yeah.
No, like real
Because
talk.
you're making a
I
profit
just-
off of it. You know, they don't.
There's a
they ain't
guy
like
what
it.
he did 2 years recently for hitting somebody on the side of the road. You know, he was drunk driving. You know, and so did 2.5 years on a DWI charge and manslaughter. But then turn around, somebody sold some, you know, say some coke or whatever you want to
Michael
call
Vick.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Literally
Michael
some-
Vick that
right.
did what? How long? Mike Vick did
Two-
But something he
2
wasn't
years.
even present for.
Yeah, you know what I'm
Something he
saying?
wasn't
So,
even present for.
I just
Something
think
that just happened in his house.
our the way we look at it, like I mean, the time periods of you have to be in jail is ridiculous right now.
Yeah.
Period. Even
And
for
then
like,
in Louisiana, we have like the harshest crimes. Like I mean, like the harshest
Sentences.
sentences. I'm sorry, and hey,
and some of
like
these judges
one of the
haven't
highest
actually
incarceration
been-
rates.
And you know, the judges and the prosecutors don't understand what you know. And I'm saying is like they don't see how some of these people are living when it comes to the
Yeah,
drug situation.
that's
So,
true.
and they'll be like, "Oh, he's a menace to society," but honestly, I mean, he might be
helping
he might be
society.
paying
Yeah.
more, you know, light bill down the street, you know,
Yep.
or
You know,
he
trying
might
to-
be,
trying to buy up all the
putting a
crack
kid through
houses,
college,
man.
but
Yeah.
he's, you know, he's just selling drugs. I mean,
Right.
so.
you know, they all about law. You know,
Laws, law,
oh, that's
no.
breaking the law. You know, whatever. You know, regardless of your intents, right?
I feel like you have to bend the rules sometimes to
Yeah.
make a change and to help,
like
you know, to help the masses.
Yeah,
I feel
man,
like
I
you
don't
have to
see,
bend some
man. Yeah. I mean, I just don't see how someone spending the rest of their life in prison.
It's gonna help them.
I mean, what does that do? Because
Right.
prison is supposed to be to fix people.
Rehabilitate, yeah.
You know, but if you not even allowing the person to come home, then what are you fixing?
All right.
Hey,
Then
I
when
mean,
they do come home, you still restrict some rights. Like
it's so
they
it's so
can't
then
even vote.
so then I
Anyway.
understand, because in this situation, I say maybe 25 max for murder, right? Okay, so you're 20, but you still coming home at 45. You done missed out a great deal of your life. Now, if you came home and still committed another crime or like, then yes, you're done. We gave you that one-time opportunity, you're done.
Right.
But I know it's a lot of guys that may get paroled after this or that.
Yeah.
I think it just should be it should be
But I think when you have those small
open for
crimes
everyone.
and you serve time, I don't think you should be having parole. Like
Yeah, me either.
like that situation
Yeah.
with like Meek Mill and
That's crazy, man. I don't.
He was on
man.
parole for like
Yeah.
a majority of his life.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
you telling me I'm gonna go back to jail for the majority? On some little small, like
Yeah,
if
you got 8 years parole
driving
and
license-
you still
driving
a
out of
snicker.
license.
If you literally cross state line without telling your
still in
parole
jail.
officer,
Yeah.
Going to jail,
going-
yeah.
You still got to
straight
pay
back to jail.
fines. You still got to report to someone. You still got to do all. Man,
For
it's
life,
crazy.
that's crazy.
yeah. No, I think
life parole. That's a life parole sentence. So you telling me you're gonna pay somebody to watch me for the rest of my life?
That's
The
wasting
system
money
is-
on
And then the
stuff
thing
that
about yeah,
That's wasting our resources.
Yeah,
you
literally.
paying it,
Wasting a
yeah.
lot of money.
But
That's the crazy thing
we
about
already
it.
know that the prison system is set up to make money anyway.
Yeah.
So that's a whole nother
That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah,
conversation.
man. Hey man, I need them
Slavery.
beds
Multi-billion-
full,
Right.
man. I need them
multi-billion
beds
dollar
full. What he
industry.
did, he stole a Snicker. He getting fired for that.
That's
you
just like
know.
we was talking about how literally black and brown people make up the majority in prisons, but we're literally a minority.
Oh yeah.
We're literally a minority out here. How is that possible?
Hey man, it all comes from old slavery. As we
Right,
speak about
everything
so
goes
much.
back
it
to
really
slavery.
does, man. Because when the 13th Amendment was passed, that's when the prison systems went up, and they started creating all these different,
Modern day slavery.
yeah. And if you did something as simple as stealing a loaf of bread, you got 10 years for that. And
Well, yeah, because when you're not
still
being
growing
when
and
you're
picking
not,
cotton and
when
things
the
like that.
sentence is determined by people who aren't your peers.
True
like-
that. And then someone who wasn't even there.
Yeah, people
like
who weren't
yeah,
there.
and the report is not going to always write, what was going on. Now you might have a judge who really just try to figure out, okay, I see you're young, you don't have no money, but you still, whatever. Hey,
And I think it also goes back to we talking about majority is the minority of us is the black people that are in jail. I think me personally, I know it's a mastermind of things, but I think that if you take a father, and most time it's a father, it's most of the man. You take a father out of a household,
The
you
family
cripple the
crumbles.
household, you cripple a household, and then that son he looks out to become. My mom's struggling. She can, obviously we
I'm
know,
commit a crime.
and we know in this country, women it's harder for a woman to get a high paying job.
Yeah.
So then that woman is struggling, trying to survive. Then that child feels like, oh, I need to be the father. And at a young age, at 16, what kind of job can you get? So then you see, another man down the street driving a Benz, and don't really work, knowing what he does. And so
Right.
then you look at it, and I'm gonna be that person, and then I'm gonna take care of my parents, and I might survive for 10 years. But then you get addicted to that life, and then after
Yep.
that lifestyle, becomes part of your life now, and you're wrapped into it. It's like, how can I go back? I only was doing this to help my mom out.
Exactly.
But now I'm
Spiraled out of
26 years
control.
old.
Yeah.
I went 10
I have
years
a
in
whole lot of money.
and I have
Right.
a lot of money. Now my thing is either I scale my business venture,
Right,
or
or-
I
Drop it
took
and
care
do
of mama
something.
for a good little while. Now
Right.
let me go and be a productive person in society.
Absolutely.
And so now I think, man, it's we in a world of it's crazy. We in a
Hey, man.
cycle.
Yeah.
and when you start waking up and really seeing what it is, man,
That's the worst because
And
it's
nobody
almost
really
a
have
kid.
an answer. It's hard to really have an answer because
True. Yeah.
it's cycle after cycle. I mean, you can reach that one child, but then then that's 1,000 more. And how many people are taking the time to reach all those young? Because that's
Right.
where it needs to stop. Like if you catch that.
Yeah, I
that-
agree.
that-
It
that
starts
child.
with the children. Starts with the youth. But unfortunately, that's why I feel like a lot of our people don't want to change because they're stuck in their mindset of it's out of control. They feel overwhelmed. It's like so much stuff that I
Yeah.
have to change. It's like, can I really
empower?
Yeah,
How much
does
of
my
an impact
voice
can I
really
make?
matter?
Yeah.
But it does. And
Yeah,
going
that's
back to
crazy.
that, can I ask a question?
yeah, sure.
Oh, okay. No, I'm just saying 'cause it's completely off topic. But what are y'all thoughts on voting?
Ooh, I
Since
love that question.
the elections are Tuesday,
Yeah.
me personally, I'm going to go out and vote because I feel like my vote matters. What about y'all?
I believe in numbers, man.
It's a little concerning. I mean, being a millennial. By the way, I'm getting into politics right now.
Oh, really? Cool.
Oh, okay.
You laughing? I can't make an announcement right now, but I'm gonna be making an announcement next.
How old are you?
I'm 24. I'm gonna be 25 in a couple of
That's what's up.
Hey,
weeks. So, but I think right now, local government is extremely important. You need to know your city councilman, your state, your state
Agreed.
representative. Local government is extremely important. I know, when we voting for like the president and different things like that, I know it's like, oh, my vote don't matter, which it really does.
Right, it does.
But I mean,
I
when
think it go both ways.
Hey, numbers matter, man.
numbers matter.
Popular
Numbers-
vote never win. It's electoral college.
Yeah, and
At
the way the
day,
system is,
Yeah.
that's how it's been.
Yeah.
Because
Right,
it was like
right.
2
It's
million
factual.
more people
So-
Yeah,
voted
yeah,
for
yeah.
in the popular vote voted
Like
for
when Trump and
Hillary Clinton.
Hillary won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
True
in our state, being that we in Louisiana, we vote, we vote red. Yeah, we
I know a
vote
lot
red
of
every year.
us feel like our vote doesn't matter. Like a lot of Democrats feel like their vote doesn't matter in Louisiana because it is a
it's a
red
rough
state.
And,
but
and that does, it's some truth to that.
We
Yeah.
But
got
I think
13
that,
electoral college
yeah,
votes.
the electoral vote.
But
That's what matters.
man, but
Right.
I really do believe though, like the situations like when you see in the public school systems, that has a lot to do with
That's local.
That's local.
Yeah.
State. That's and we need to be out there voting.
That's so
You
true.
need to know who's running for as your rep, and you need to have their phone number. You need to we need to start pushing those people. And I live in a district that's heavily African American.
Some people don't even know what their district is. Do you realize that some people literally don't know what district they live in?
Especially young. It's crazy.
You just learned yours. I mean, but that's
that's
real.
Putting them on game.
That's
I
real.
don't know nothing about
though.
that.
But
It's
I
like
think
that stuff not taught to us.
It's not. It's not.
And it's just a lack of knowledge. People think because we see, they see government as in,
Yep.
Washington D.C.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff that's happening and impacting,
It starts here, yep.
impacting your city is, your
Very important,
representative,
man.
your mayor, president.
important.
You have a president. It depends on who's your voice for your area,
Right.
and that's who can get things done for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so you should know that person. And we need to start pushing those people, honestly.
Yeah.
Like we need to hold those people because they're gonna come in like doing election time out.
Yeah.
So we have
Literally only see them in November.
So voting on November 6th. I seen somebody. It was like, oh man, you should vote for this person. This person means a lot. And I was like, well, you tell them because they're like one of their representatives.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've never heard from you all year,
That's
and y'all
so
knew
true.
you knew you were running before this, and so you're gonna all of a sudden pop up in the area,
Like,
and now
knocking
you
on
care
doors.
about the
Right.
area,
Yeah.
but I can do a lot. I can do a lot for the area. I can do a lot for the district, and it
It's
just
like, but we haven't seen your face though,
Yeah,
and that's
and
what
that's what we need to start pushing
That's
them.
especially I feel like in Baton Rouge, but it's a soft spot for me because I grew up here, so it's like we need y'all.
But I think-
our communities really need them.
I think we need to start stop putting politicians in office. Honestly, too. I
True.
think we need to
They
start
need to be real people.
That's something I'm kind of real big on. I'm not a real politician. I am one, but I'm a businessman.
You're not
and
the
I'm
stereotype.
I'm not a stereotype. I don't associate with a lot of politicians. I don't I'm about
Why is that?
business. Because they full of shit.
I mean,
Full of shit.
I feel like you have to
Hey,
hold.
keep-
I feel
keep
like
it
you
real.
have to hold them accountable, and by holding them accountable,
Yeah, we'll bleep that one out, E.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm just being honest. I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy how you win in office, and then you go whatever. So say you have a term of 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
and you said you were going to do these things, and then your agenda
Most of the
changed.
time they don't.
And 9 times out of 10,
Literally
you
your last
might have
3
not
months.
accomplished. The last few
Last-
months.
the last few months.
And I'm in a situation right now where my organization is becoming popular, and I'm starting to see a lot of politicians starting to reach out, and it's because they're about to be running for next year is a big election in our city, and so they're going to reach out and they're going to say, oh, we need basically we want to help your organization out, but
Well,
really they want you to be the poster
They
child
want you to be a
for
pawn. Yeah.
for their election, and then you're not going to hear nothing from them. Oh, I'm going to promise you this. I'm going to promise you that. I tell them right now, you better make that happen right now,
Right.
Yeah.
because up until you got these,
Won't
say
hear from
so
them.
January to June you better make what you're gonna happen, because in November when it's
That's
time
when
to vote for you,
that's
I'll tell
when we
people
gonna
this
see.
person did not do anything for me. I'm gonna let my people know that, and so y'all vote how y'all want to vote, because I can't really physically say not to
Right.
vote for somebody. But
Well,
I'm
that's strong, man.
I'm gonna give them the facts. I'm gonna say this person has not been beneficial to our organization or beneficial to our area or our community, and so I'm just being honest. And some
Yeah.
people see the money that you some of them it's crazy.
Yeah, I was
don't
about to
really
say
go
that.
there. It's like some
It's a
politicians
lot, man,
they
yeah.
treat it as a career, and it's like, oh, I make like $26,000 as a politician, then you get to kind of really have a side job, and so you probably you're making money somewhere else, and so it's basically like a hustle for them, and I just got to keep up with the hustle,
Right. Instead of actually making change.
making change.
Right.
And I'll be honest with you, I mean, I'm one of those. I don't need that money to be. I'm doing this because I'm trying to change the stigma that we are capable as a young adult to make decisions for our community. I think that we can do big things at a young age.
Agreed. It's a lot of children out there making more differences than
Yeah.
politicians out there.
Yeah. And we see that up north a lot
Thank
in
you, sir.
in Atlanta and different areas. But I mean, I think Louisiana. I think we need to
Agreed.
start pushing the lines and breaking some of these the stigma
Yeah,
that
man.
we are capable of doing these things.
Because it's really, I feel like the only people that really vote, unfortunately, in Louisiana is like older white people. So
True.
that's why you get the results that you get if
True that.
y'all not going out there and
I
voting.
mean, because they pay attention to it.
They
You know,
do,
it's
of
like I think
course.
I know, I can't speak for me. Like my mom has always, boy, you better vote. Your vote is important. I'm like, Ma, I ain't gonna vote. Why not? Your vote is important. Oh,
My
but
dad is the same way.
hey, because I had that. I'm like, my vote ain't gonna matter. Because to me, I'm like, man, they gonna put whoever they want in office, and they gonna find a way that they gonna do it. They'll say
Oh,
that.
no, they know the
This
they know the
vote
numbers.
ain't go.
Yeah.
But it's still important for us to just be, like you were saying, knowledgeable of the, issues that go on in our community.
Mm-hmm.
And now, it's kind of hard. The president, in a presidential vote, it's one thing. But your mayor,
Right, people that's in your
councilman,
Councilman.
representative,
sheriff, and
especially your sheriff,
chief and stuff like
your
that.
sheriff. We just was talking about prison, and we was talking about city marshals next year in our city,
And they the ones that run it.
And I mean, so those people, not saying that they can decide on how to react towards certain situations, but we have a lot of people getting shot unarmed.
True that.
And so that has a lot to do with the head. And so the person who's the head of your, y'all have a sheriff or y'all have a city police, they're a reflection of you.
They set the tempo.
And so they set the tempo. And so if I have a person that see people as, a black man as a scary person, and if that's my leader, and that's the person that I look up to, then as me being a person on the street, I'm gonna be, and I don't know the conversation that they're having back there, but I'm pretty sure that it'd be like,
it's a
in
reflection.
situations, I would expect the sheriff to say, hey, look, this is what I expect in these situations.
Yep.
Exactly.
This is what I expect. Just like
Exactly.
if you're
Because they're gonna go
a
off of their
principal,
personal
this is what I
experience.
expect with a teacher in these situations. And so, if you're voting and you care, that's what I would ask them. If you're going to be running for sheriff, how do you feel about this situation?
Yep.
A black man get pulled over. Do you want him to step out the car? How do you want him to act? Will you want to, hands on the wheel? Because that all matters. Yeah.
Literally every
so they can
second
actually
matter.
step out the car. They can actually. It's based off of how they're trained to do it. And so some say, well, step out the car, put your hands on your head, or put your hands on the car, or
some just say, hey, look, man,
don't move. Different
Yeah.
situations like that. So that's all a reflection of your leader. And so I mean, our voice matter when it comes to
It
stuff
really
like that.
does, man. You're spreading the knowledge, man. That's what has to happen.
Yeah.
People have to take these type of elections seriously.
Exactly.
But man, we'll go ahead and take.
I'm sorry, that was.
Take a break.
We'll go ahead and jump
deep in that
to.
one.
Hey, definitely. That's why we love it. But we'll go ahead and.
No, I kind of wanted to elaborate. I think a lot of people, another reason they don't really vote is because they don't know what the roles are for the positions for the people who are running for their positions. They don't really
that's
understand
factual.
their role. Like
Yeah,
they
that's
don't know
factual.
their dynamics. So it's like, okay, I'm voting for him. Okay, what he
Right.
gonna do? What he like? So it's kind of like I don't know what I'm voting for. So why vote in the first place? So
And that's factual. I don't really have it. I mean, I can't really answer that. I just know that's factual.
Yeah.
I guess education. I mean, and we do a lot of self-education, which is crazy. We self-educate on Facebook. We self-educate on Instagram. We self-educate about
Stuff that don't matter.
stuff that don't matter.
Right.
We know what Lil Uzi about to do, and who knows
Crazy.
about. So
Yeah.
I guess I mean I think
I feel like it
we
starts
need
at
some
home.
platform needs to be created, just for the education of our rights, understanding our rights, understanding
True that, because it's like
with
foreign
the roles
language,
of
man.
certain parts of what a politician has and what they can do, what kind of power they have. Just the whole understanding of the justice system altogether.
Gotcha.
I mean, I think we just need a platform for that. I don't know how to create that, but I mean, we need a platform.
I mean, I feel like there needs to be a platform, and again, it needs to start at home. Like,
that's
you
hard,
can.
too,
I mean, I can
Yeah.
understand it's hard, but it's not
Yeah.
impossible.
Well, in the school system, I think that's maybe.
You cannot depend on school, on the school,
Yeah.
especially not Louisiana school system,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
tell your
Shots
child
at,
everything.
shots at Louisiana school system.
I mean, shots fired.
But
I mean,
that's
and-
real though.
a
Y'all
lot,
need to do something
a
about
lot
the
needs
school.
to be a lot needs to be changed.
Oh yeah, a lot has to be changed.
But I mean, parents, maybe that might be the way to go. Parents, we need to start putting pressure on parents to say, hey, look, do your kids know, what district they live in?
Yeah.
And that's just starting right there.
Just small, even if it is the small
chief of
stuff.
police?
Right.
Real talk, like even if it's just the small stuff, because literally by you even knowing the name of the chief of police could. And I'm not saying that it's on us to not get shot in those certain situations. It's just you never know what your knowledge could do for a
you
certain
in
situation.
situations,
Like,
Yeah, because
you
you can
just never
even know how to follow the chain of command. You might be
Right.
like, okay, this officer did this. I know I can go to this person.
Right.
That
And you might stop that bad officer. So by knowing that, okay, my chief is this person, they came see us here, so
Right.
they know this person. So saying like I went to a little rally at this little spot.
Rally. Ooh.
Ooh.
I like that word.
And so basically, I know the person that's running for this office is connected to that person. And so I don't know that person that's running for that office, but I know the person that really knows them.
Right.
And so, in situations, I'll say, if I educate my child and say this person is, I have a son, but he's really young, but say he was older, I would say, hey, look, this is the person that you need to talk to in case something happens.
True that.
You know, for this situation.
Absolutely,
So get the badge number. Don't talk back, and you know, understand that you know we can solve the situation. You know, a little bit later, and so that person, we can get that person off the street.
Hey,
Right.
You know, we
definitely,
can get that
man.
person off the
Definitely,
street.
So it
definitely.
not happen to the next person.
Hey, man, that's knowledge, man. You know,
Knowledge is power.
Right.
If I say a little testimony with y'all real quick.
Go ahead.
So I was arrested at 18. My brother had gotten in a little fight, and the officer actually, because we're from Lafayette has a city called Carrico right next to it, and so the officer knew who my brother was, and he knew I was, and so they was like, well, you can make a call to come get your car, and so called me to get the car. I got there, got the keys with his girlfriend. The officer, I looked at the back of his car, and, you know, I got the car number before I got there, so I didn't know what I'm doing, and so I said, hey, can I get the keys? And then another officer walked up and he was like, get the F out of here, and you know, just talking to me crazy. We towing the car, the tow truck is about to come. And I said, well, y'all called me out of my bed, you know, y'all let him call me out of my bed. And so I was like, well, you know, can y'all explain what, you know, why would y'all call me? And he was like, you know, he was just kind of talking, you know, a little reckless with me. And so I said, and I knew the chief of police at the time in Carrico. And so basically he came around the car and he pulled me out of the car. Like my foot was on the brake still. I didn't even put the car in parking, so he pulled me out of the car with my, which is going to be my sister-in-law. She was sitting in the other seat.
Wow.
And so she jumped in, and she kind of jumped and pressed the brake. My car would have hit a police car, really, because the car was blocking the other side. And so she jumped in and pressed the brake, and it was in a Burger King parking lot. And then, and so basically he pulled me out of the car. Now, I got charged with resisting arrest because I'm a pretty big person. And so when he pulled me, I was like, look, let me, you know, I didn't know. And so he put me down, he put me in put the cuffs on, and so I got his badge number. He didn't know I realized I was getting his badge number and everything at the end of the day. So I said all that to say is I knew, you know, I was in the right, you know, when I did that. And so basically, I mean, I have a letter right now from the chief of police saying that, you know,
They apologize.
they apologize.
Ooh.
And right now, if I would have handled that situation in the wrong way and say just got shot, you know, just say I might have got shot in that situation. I mean, and I did, you know, I did exchange words once we got in the car with him. I was like, I'm just letting you know I'm going to the chain of command. But at the time, I was like, look, I'm not resisting. I was like, I'm not resisting. I'm letting you know I'm not resisting. And so I'm putting my hands behind my back, and he's still like kind of beating up on me. But, you know, and so if I would have handled it wrong and I wouldn't have told the police or chief, and, you know, if I would say I don't got out of hand and it was like, well, you got out of hand.
Right.
So he had the right to do that.
Yeah.
And so, you know, the police officer doesn't work there anymore, but it's based off of that. You know, one of that situation, he had another altercation. But if I never told about that altercation, and then when he had the next altercation, say he would have shot somebody at that time, you know, just different. And so I understand that we have a due diligence to the person behind us to handle situations correctly and do, you know, file the proper paperwork. You know, I filed a complaint. You know, I did the whole nine, and you know, I handled it the right way. And so, I mean, it's off my record and everything.
Yeah.
And so, but it's a story I tell. You know, I'm gonna tell my son is like, you know, you got to handle it the right way.
Yep.
And, you know, and good thing I knew the chief of police. You know, so
right.
But it's literally just like with that one voice, somebody else that was, you know, brave enough or just knew to go that route, got that police officer off the street.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And that's what it takes. Like,
and it's
really
hard to
just
get a
being
job once you get
knowledgeable.
really fired for, you know,
because
when
they
you have too
know
many complaints on you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because then the insurance, you know, they're covered by insurance and everything, and so you know,
You're a
liability to,
liability.
you know, they don't. You know, if something happened, they're gonna protect you like in a moment.
Right.
But like if you're a free agent, like if you're
Right,
not,
right,
you know,
right,
right.
they ain't picking up liabilities in that situation.
Right.
You gonna cost them lawsuits.
Wow.
So,
Man.
and I never sued them. I just never sued them. I never sued them. Huh?
Why?
Because I'm
just
like,
curious.
I felt like
Justice was served.
Justice was served based
Yeah.
off the situation. Now, if they wouldn't have handled the situation correct, and you know they wouldn't have,
Then you would have
you
went
know,
that route.
yeah. So,
For sure.
and I did have to spend the night in jail. That was the tough
They
part
would have
about
had
it.
to.
So,
Right.
because I couldn't
Ooh,
do
they
that
would've-
situation until afterwards. But you know, I held my peace, and I'm glad that they wrote him up, they suspended him, and then he had another altercation, and then he was fired after that. So,
Gotcha.
At least you know they handled their business on their end, because
Yeah.
it's a lot of situations where they get complaint after complaint after
they
complaint,
gonna
and
leave a
nobody
person,
goes
yeah.
anywhere. Like,
True.
Or they get leave.
or they get leave.
Paid.
or paid
Right.
leave.
That's a vacation.
Paid leave.
That's
Hey, man,
literally
I'm
a
chilling. I
vacation.
ain't trying to be out there anyway, right? But, hey, look, we still here. We chopping it up,
yeah,
man.
some good conversation.
Hey, man, we have some great conversation. We're going ahead and take a quick break. You're still tuned in. But I always say toned.
Toned in.
You're still tuned in with Breauxs and Brews.
Brews. Nice hearty brews, yeah.
Hello, everyone. We are back with Breauxs and Brews. You're still tuned in with your host, Obatier John Queez, joined with my co-host.
Jay Flair.
Tiffany Torre.
And we're still here with our two very special guests, Mr. O'Neal and Mr. Matt. How y'all feeling, guys?
I'm feeling good.
Hey, man, we still glad to have you here. And again, a huge shout out to Sport and Grill, for, bringing out some food. Which was good, man.
Pretty good at
Yeah,
that.
We smashed that. We trying to leave this for a pretty display,
Right.
but eventually that's going to be gone. Man, so yeah, like that first segment was great, man. Being aware of politics, knowing your district, and I think we should challenge each other. I know obviously you guys are aware in your area in Lafayette, but we should even challenge ourselves. Know our district, who's our councilwoman, our councilman, state rep, and everything like that. So Wednesday, let's speak about it and challenge our viewers, man. Know your district, so get more involved, with your politics, know what you're voting for, or know what's at stake or at risk if you're not voting.
Yep.
So. Absolutely.
And yes, you can promote change, as you saw from this man's testimony.
Absolutely.
He was
You
able
can
to
definitely promote change.
make a difference. So, once again, what is it that you guys do again?
Man.
Just so everybody can, fresh
Real estate investor and entrepreneur.
Okay.
Entrepreneur, insurance broker, politician, all of the above. Motivational speaker.
Okay.
Shout out them socials.
Hey, make sure y'all follow him on Instagram, Real Estate Entrepreneur, YouTube, O'Neal Parker, Oneil, Facebook, O'Neal Parker as well.
Let's go.
And y'all can catch me on Facebook at Matt Sias. Y'all can check out my business page, MSJ Insurance Agency LLC. And y'all can check me on Instagram, Insurance Mogul _ and I don't have a YouTube page, but it's coming.
One more thing. I do buy houses, so Baton Rouge, Lafayette.
There you go.
Y'all see a house in your area for sale, I will pay you $500 to $1,000 if I buy it.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Hey, appreciate it. Hey, look, and if y'all haven't noticed, which you will, the Saints actually playing right now. So,
Catch us drifting
yeah,
off.
we're drifting off into the TV because it's a pretty big game. The LA Saints. Oh, Lord. I said the LA Saints.
LA Saints.
The Louisiana. I
Ooh,
said,
Louisiana.
yeah. I mean, it's right. Yeah, I'm good, man. LA, good. It's staying for Louisiana, man. Louisiana.
Nah, I ain't letting it.
Because I want to say the Louisiana Saints, but nah, it's the New Orleans Saints and the LA Rams are playing right now. So it's a pretty big game. But,
We're not going to lose focus.
Right.
What we
We're not
came
going to
with.
lose focus, for what you came for. So we're going to go ahead and get into some questions, ask you guys about what you do, what's important, why this and so forth. Flat, what we got?
I definitely want to hit on why life insurance is important, because people underestimate the power it has behind it, and
No
just
one
want you
thinks
to
they're gonna
speak on
die.
it, man.
Well, I've been a life insurance broker for a long time. I do everything now. I do home auto, workers' comp, general
Man,
liability.
how old are you again?
I'm 24.
24.
Yeah, I'll be 25 in a couple of weeks.
man.
Busy.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
probably one of the
yeah.
youngest insurance brokers, and definitely in my area, might be in the state also. I started out in life insurance. I used to work at a funeral home, actually.
Okay.
And that's kind of how I got started in life insurance. And man, you'd be so surprised how many people don't have life
yeah.
insurance.
yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it's crazy. And so I started selling life insurance. I started seeing that it was a huge need, and so basically, I used to be the guy. I kind of grew now. I used to be the guy that used to go kind of just collect the premiums. I go knock at your grandmother's house, hey, and just collect the premiums and make sure they're paying on time. And then I kind of started really educating myself on different type of products, whole life term, universal life, and a lot of different other products. And before you know it, now I represent like 40-some companies that all sell life insurance.
That's dope, man.
And I basically find you whatever your need is. I basically find it for you. If you're just trying to carry coverage for burial, because there's different type. And I'm gonna educate real quick. There's situation for burial. There's situation if you're trying to cover for your mortgages and all. Say you have a couple of houses like my buddy here. He has a term policy based off all his mortgages. So they have situations for that. I have policies that people use for to subsidize for college for some kids. So there's a lot of different products. But one thing I do think that's important is having life insurance for burial. The average funeral cost right now is $9,200.
Okay.
The average funeral cost, that's full burial. That's funeral service, going to the cemetery and everything. Average cremation right now is probably like at $4,000. And I mean, and so,
It's $4
but
grand
I mean,
to
that,
bury
but that,
somebody?
I mean, $4 grand to bury somebody.
well,
I
I mean, if
didn't
you're
know
doing,
that.
if you're doing a service,
I don't want no
if you're doing a
I was about
service,
to
when,
say, no. If
so
y'all
not,
gonna
and
burn me, I
it's
might
like,
as well do the service
it's
at
like,
the house.
it's like, I want to say like 1,600 to just do like
the
burn
cremation.
and nothing,
Cremate,
and
yeah.
nobody, you know. And so, you know, a lot of people sometimes resort to just going cremation
Yeah.
because, I
Pay
mean,
costs.
but I
I
mean,
mean-
that mean you don't. So like, say you would pass today. Say somebody would pass today. Cremation, that $1,600 cremation. That mean you're getting cremated the next day. Like right then, they're not doing the funeral. You're not. Nobody viewing your body like that. You know, it's
So what about if you wait?
huh?
You can't wait.
Well, if you
So if it's weight, it's the $4 grand.
yeah, if you wait and you try to do the like, you know,
more expensive
what some
than
people
the
try to
funeral.
do, they're like, oh, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna have a bunch of people come and see that person. But a funeral home is really not, you know, they're not changes into, you know, like we doing a service.
Yeah.
And so basically, you know, if you're gonna do a direct cremation, it's gonna be that $1,600.
So they don't clean the body on there, just put them in there.
Yeah, that's the problem. So being that I worked in a funeral home, that means they have to embalm the body. Then they're gonna charge you for embalming them. If they have to embalm the body, because you have state law, you have to embalm the body in, I forgot how many hours. It's a certain amount of hours. It might be 72 hours. And so, you know, then you turn it into, you know, so basically the moral of the story is you want to have some type of life insurance policy to protect you in those situations.
Well, what is the best insurance life and policy that you can recommend? Obviously, we know that you can get a cut off of it, you know, and we don't want people to, you know, take that the wrong way. But if you can recommend like the safest plan or just the best plan.
Okay, so I like to say I don't like to
I say
answer,
like
so
it's situational, right?
So situation.
Say,
So
you know,
let's use young. Let's go young first. For a young person, there's a policy I use called a universal life product, but it basically have whole life qualities. So that means it lasts to age. I could put it to age like 120, and then it's term type prices. It don't collect cash value. It's just a whole life. It's like a whole life product without cash value.
Okay.
That's what I recommend for all my young people. I'm doing for $25,000. I can get you a whole life product for like probably like $17 for 25. Put like between 20 and probably like 30. I can do it, you know, for about $25, $30. So that's extremely cheap for $25,000 in coverage. But then there's you know, term situations. So I would always recommend term when like we somebody that's fully established, that has a lot of assets and have a lot of mortgages. Especially when you're a heavy provider in your family. Like say I'm you know, I'm like $700,000 in debt. Well, not debt, but like, you know, like properties that I own good debt.
Yeah.
And so, and my, you know, say my spouse wouldn't be in a situation where they would be able to take care of it, or, you know, even if you're single, you know, so I'm single, so like I don't have a situation where my son would have been in a situation where he would, you know, be in that position where he couldn't financially take care of it. And I don't know anybody just gonna randomly say, oh, I'm gonna just make sure I take care of all his responsibilities.
Right.
You know, I mean, your parents gonna be like, let's sell everything and let's see, we're gonna figure out what we're gonna do from there. Or, you know, just a situation. So you want to be able to pass that. That's generational wealth.
Okay.
And so that's how I look at it. Like, so when you have a term policy and you were to pass and it pays out your house, that's how you create generational wealth. So they pay out all you know, you thinking. So my child would actually own those properties outright. And so that's the situation.
So would you have to put that in the will, or
what you mean, the policy?
Yeah.
And so no, technically, I mean, it's being that he's young. I mean, I can deed it to him. I can make him the beneficiary, but there will be somebody that has to be active for him to take care of it. Or it's gonna sit there for a period of time. So
Until he's like a certain age.
18.
And, okay.
So, but every situation is different. An older person, I mean, this is big. So if you have a grandparent, as the age get older, the price changes a whole lot. I'd be so sad when I see a lot of older folks come to me and it was like, "Oh, I don't mean life insurance." And, you know, they're closer to the end than the beginning, and so you know,
Nice way to put
that's the easy. See, I have to learn how to put it the right way, and so in the field I am, and so I always say, you know, if they would have thought about it. So basically, that price I told you all about, $25, that would be your whole life. And so think about it. $25, you go to McDonald's twice a week. Yeah. That's $25. But an older person, we looking at for $25,000 probably, in that kind of probably like $100-something.
A month?
Like 70, like a 70-year-old.
It's because of their
Well, yeah, 'cause
age.
they
age,
There's a lot of
and
risks
then
involved.
and then
stuff.
if everybody's most likely healthy.
Yeah.
We're mostly healthy, and so you know, 9 times out of 10, that person at 70 have something wrong with them. I mean, they're not, fully, they're not completely healthy. So that changes. Then I always recommend if you're older and you're decent in health, you definitely need to do the health checkup. That also gets you a cheaper rate on certain products. But so every situation is different when it comes to life insurance. So that's my little 5-minute spiel on life insurance.
Because my mom always said, she was like, you gotta have life insurance because next thing you know, somebody die, you gotta be selling fish plates. Trying to raise the money. Hey man, but it's like
GoFundMe.
the GoFundMes. I mean, but
Whenever
at the end of the day,
somebody
That's something I always post. GoFundMe was not
not
created
life
as a
insurance.
substitute for life insurance.
Right.
And we think that GoFundMe could take care of it. And what happens when they don't actually have it? And so, it's really embarrassing when you get to, there's people that get past that where they don't get the right funds for it. And over time, that means they have to go back to the state or the city that the city that you reside. It depends on what city you're in. Sometimes the state take care of it, the city take care of it, but then they might cremate that body for you.
Next question. Yeah.
They might cremate that body for you, and they won't tell you about that or anything. They're gonna bury. They'll just cremate. That I think Lafayette does it. I don't know how often, but they did one not too long ago where they cremated all the bodies that was in the morgue.
So they just sit there and nobody go.
If nobody, if they've been there so long and over time. I mean, probably a year and time if you're in there.
Huh?
Hold on. Wait.
Someone be there a year at the
Dead
time.
body being there a year.
Oh man, past time. Like
Are you serious?
I'm telling you.
I mean, because it is a freezer.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it is a freezer essentially.
I mean, but you think about it. I mean, if
but it
the
is
city,
taking
a city,
space. Yeah,
a
it
big
really
city,
is.
over time. I mean, if you don't claim the bodies, just different
I mean,
situations.
because you can think about, like in places like a LA or New York, like a person who was homeless and
bodies a night.
and
That's crazy.
wow.
So what factors go into when you cooking up a policy for somebody? Like, how do you know, they need this much in coverage, they need this much in coverage? Like what?
A need analysis. So basically, I sit down, I ask you questions that vary, like, how much you're making currently, how, who's the majority, say, of your single. Well, I look at it when most of the time I sit down with couples, and so when I'm sitting down with a couple, I'm looking like who's the, the lead provider, based off of who's the lead provider. If this person wants to leave, how much that person needs to survive by themselves. Basically, how much debt they have, their debt to income ratio. I'm looking at if they have kids. If their kids do you plan on sending your kids to college, or y'all being a responsible source for their college? Because some parents be like, well, my child's on their own at that time, and some parents really think like that. Like,
That's messed
That's
up.
true.
but I'm just being honest. So then from there, is if the kids need college, and how much towards college that they would need, and we draw up analysis, and then basically from there, then price starts to set in. So what's in your budget? How much can you afford to pay? Then being that I'm a broker and I sell life insurance and I sell home and auto, so this is a cool trick that I can do is I'll shop your home insurance for you, I'll shop your auto insurance for you, and I'll save you money, and I'll be like
one-stop shop, right?
So that's how I'm really big on the people, and so I'm trying to help as many people as possible. So say you have an insurance policy, home auto insurance policy, I just save one of our friends like $1,200 for the year. So $1,200 a year. I save him some money all the time. But so you got an extra $100 a month, so $1,200 divided into 12 months. So that's and so let's say we saving your auto, so now you got another $190. And so over time, now I'm looking, okay, I got an extra $109 to play with. Okay, like let's look at your budget. Like let's see how much you had yourself before my $190. You might have $220. Now between two people, I have this amount of money to play with to get you to your goal of how much insurance you need. So
Man,
that's how I break down the game.
I don't even know if this is a question that you have, Flip, but why don't people have life insurance? Well, why is it that in
A lot of people think it's too
in
expensive.
our community, why don't we have insurance?
And then-
we're gonna insure that car.
Yeah.
We're not gonna insure the home. You're gonna insure your phone.
I think
what you want to insure.
And that's good. I'm glad you said that. I'm really glad you said that about the phone. Most people don't realize everybody has insurance on their phone just about 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
There's about if
Unless
you go
you
to
el- unless you
AT&T,
purposely
you go to
elect to not
T-Mobile,
have it,
unless
yeah.
you elect to say, hey, look, but 9 times out of 10 automatically come with it. You know how kind of, how bad it is to know that, well, when you die, that person say they had this new iPhone. When you died, then you didn't have coverage on yourself, and so it's kind of like interesting how we think that we can insure, we would insure our car, with that phone, that we talking about this little thing right here that we got coverage. How much the phone's probably worth? About what, $1,200? You're probably paying what, $20-something a month for your just for your insurance plan. I mean, that $20 right there, I would rather insure my phone. Insure my life before I insure my phone.
No one thinks they're gonna die.
Exactly. Yeah, that's another thing. We think, especially young, we think, I'll just worry about it later.
Yeah.
Right. I'll get it when I get when I go to the doctor and I'm 40. They tell me that I got cancer. Yeah. And then that's the worst time. That's the worst time.
Worst time.
And so you're saying that price can remain the same even if you.
Yeah, once you lock it in, the price is locked in.
Oh, wow.
on all life insurance policies. So. Not all life insurance policy. They got variable policies, and it depends on what you're getting. So if you lock the price in, and if it's a term policy for 30 years, that's what you're paying for 30 years. If you're paying a whole life, and then you're paying $25 for your whole life. Hey, and one little thing that I like to drop in some nuggets in. Some policies come with living benefits, which meaning is that, say it has a cancer living benefit, a stroke living benefit. And so say you had a $100,000 term. If you had got cancer during that period of time, like say during the 20 years of time, they would give you a percentage of that face amount of that policy. So sometimes you can actually get your policy, your money from your policy beforehand. So that's a nugget that most people don't know. So life insurance is not only for when you die. It can bail you out of a situation whenever when you get cancer, sometimes you got to go to chemo. You might have to quit your job, depending on what kind of job you have. So it might really save you.
Could you have 2 insurance policies?
Oh yeah, you can have more. I mean, I got a lot.
If you got working policy, and then
I was like, man, you got more than me, and I'm an insurance agent. I got a couple. I got a good bit. I got them, and you can also have it in. You can also insure anybody that you have insurable interest. Basically, like if they were to die, that would be an insurable interest
like
to you.
Like a business partner.
A business partner, yeah. Buy sell agreement. People don't know about life insurance policies. So, like, if y'all, say me and Mr. Parker have an entity together, and if he was to die, then that means his wife would be my business, or if he was ever to get married, he would have his spouse or his child would be my business partner. Well, I don't want his child to be my business partner. I like my boy Parker. Right. But so there's policies for that called buy and sell agreements where you can basically have life insurance. If he would die, it belongs to the entity. It's an agreement that we had chose to buy out at that price. And so say it was $1 million, that would pay that, his, whatever it be, his children, that money. So
in addition to already the policy that he would already have.
Yeah, the policies that he already had.
Wow.
So people do that for their businesses. Key
wealth,
man. So say you were my go-to person, like my company. My company wouldn't make it, but you're not an owner. You just, like Steve Jobs and then his team. Right. Steve Jobs wasn't the man, but his programming was, exactly. And so basically, I could put insurance on you because you're insurable interest. If you was to pass, I would be in a situation. So that's something. There's a lot, man. It's crazy. There's so many different policies out there.
I mean,
that
we
can
don't
really
know, man. I just know the insurance just to bury you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it's a lot of people that allow like their jobs to cover them in terms of their finances. They be like, "Oh, I'm good. My job got me covered. My job got me covered."
Oh, so they only
So you
think about it. Like,
that
a job is not guaranteed. So
no, to a certain degree.
Exactly.
So to a certain degree, you can't take the policy with you in certain situations.
You still got to pay.
In certain situations, but you got to pay it from there. Now you have to make that active situation where you go talk to HR and say, hey, look, I'm taking this policy with me, and they'll do the proper paperwork for that. But then there's some situations where if you were to, they have, it's based off of if you don't work there anymore, that's it. Right. So it's basically, I have it at my job. Do you know what you have at your job?
They probably don't.
This coming out my check. You don't even know how much coverage you have. And so, and some 9 times out of 10, the business, they're trying to just put 10,000, 5,000. They're doing, they might do 10,000 for you and 5 for your children.
And you just said the average funeral cost is what, 9,200?
9,200. But but in situations, sometimes they might have 5,000 on you, and the average funeral cost. So now you gotta go. Your family gotta do
fry
cremation.
fish.
Yeah,
or fry fish.
And you gotta fry fish
Go
for the rest of the, And so it's one thing is also too. What you have. Do policy reviews with your insurance agent. I'm always looking for new customers, but if you have an agent, one thing I tell, like we were just talking about, knowing about, your city councilman and different that, but when you come to insurance, know exactly what you have and push that agent to tell you exactly what you have. Make them do policy reviews every year. Maybe you might have changed in life. He might have bought Trump Tower or something, then his financially I might have went from 50 to 100 in 1 year, and so my things have changed. So like financially, I need to make sure I'm protected based off of the way I'm living currently.
Gotcha. And there's a lot of like we see a lot of old folks in like Walmart, and they still working, and they just say, "Oh, I'm just trying to keep busy," but in reality, it's probably something to do with their finances, right? So, when you in life insurance, do y'all have like retirement plans in place?
Well, I'm not a retirement specialist, but my good friend is. He works for Edward Jones. His name is Marcus White. Shout out to you, Marcus. So y'all can follow him on Facebook. But I put all my trust in him when it comes to that. But I know a good bit. So one thing I can say is Social Security. I'm just gonna be. I can't even state my name on this. I don't think Social Security gonna be around when we gonna be.
I don't think it is.
That's funny. Financial, we struggling right now, and I mean, give us another 30 years. Well, I mean, so 24, you can't. So 65. So at early age 63. So I mean, you expecting our government financially with the struggles that they currently have right now? We're trillions of dollars in debt. So we banking. Some people bank their retirement on Social Security and the 401k or the retirement that they might have had at their job. And so one thing is, we need to start looking at exactly what we looking to retire with. Sit down with a specialist and say, okay, maybe you need to start do your own IRA, have an own separate IRA that where you know exactly what you're going to do, and forget about what the job's doing, what you're putting away for your nest egg. That's what we call it, your nest egg. Your situation when you're trying to retire. So don't count on Social Security. Because that's what they're doing. That's what ended up happening to a lot of people, is that they say, oh, my job, and didn't know exactly how much they were going to get, and so they might be getting from their job $1,200 a month, but they were actually making $3,000 a month, when they were working. And so then on Social Security, they might be giving them $400-500 a month. And then, we short this amount of bills, but my living style has projected me to live like this the rest of my life. And then if I didn't pay my house out, if I took a lot of credit out, and then that's when you see people losing homes, and you're going to And so, just understanding that, we live so much in today. We live in, so much situations. Being that we're so young, I'm, be 25 in a couple of weeks. Understanding that, we need to prepare for tomorrow, just as well as we're preparing for today. So that's what I would say. You don't want to be that old person greeting at the door at Walmart.
Right. But shout out to the door greeters at Walmart. We know you. We know you got to do what you got to do, man. It's good that they understand that they have to try to do something, because some people get in a situation where they just get put out, and then their child is end up taking care of them. That's some of the situation that happens. So,
man.
What we got down there, Mr. Parker?
I got y'all understand a little bit.
What we got going on down there, Mr.
The real estate professional down here.
Let me, man. Can a person with bad credit buy a home?
Of course, all day long. There's many ways to buy houses.
And so, what is,
how you do it?
Yeah.
I got a 420. Help me out.
420. All right. What you can do is they have many different ways to buy a house. Of course. If you have bad credit, first I would say fix your credit. But while you're fixing your credit, you can buy a house. So you can buy a house as an owner finance. Okay. Like the first house I bought, no money out of my pocket, didn't check my credit, nothing.
So explain what's owner finance.
Owner finance is basically the owner that owns the house at that time becomes your bank. Okay. So I want your house, you go be my bank. I pay you $800 a month until 10 years, 20 years, whatever we agree with, and then the house is mine.
Gotcha.
Stuff like that. Also, you can do called lease option. You lease the house. Whenever you fix your credit, you can go get a loan. You can also do a rent-to-own. I wouldn't suggest it, but you can do it. Rent the house for like 20 years, and then it's yours. Okay. But if you miss a payment, you can kick you out. You lose all your money. Right. So there's many different ways. You just got to pick which way you want to do. Okay.
Okay.
Good to know. You do credit repair too, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
What's the first step in fixing your credit?
I suggest you look at your credit and see what's on there to begin with.
Yeah.
And I would say never pay collections. A lot of people,
You said never
really
pay collections?
Pay for what?
I'm paying collections right now.
Why would you pay it?
Yeah.
I'm paying I was paying collections for 6 months in order to start school again.
Right. So once it collections, the company done with you. They write out that debt to the debt collectors. You can have it. Now, if you're going to use that bank or whatever, cons, if you're going to use them again, I would say pay it with them and say, hey,
But
I pay my debt.
So
typically that's what I did. 'Cause
so
I
it's
wanted
better
it alone.
to leave it alone than to pay it
Yeah,
off?
because once you pay it, they still ain't gonna take it off your credit,
So how
That's
do you take care of
crazy.
it?
huh?
So when does it
You
drop
delete
off?
it. Credit repair,
Repair, you gotta get a
credit
specialist.
rebuild, restore
Got you. Got
all
you,
day
got
long.
you.
A
Hey,
lot of
man.
people don't know that.
Yeah,
I
didn't know
definitely
that.
be getting these guys cards.
I was just about to say.
Before we
You gotta
leave.
fix that credit, man.
Hey, definitely.
Credit is
Immediately.
more important than
Most
dollars.
important thing, even with insurance, we talking about insurance also. When it comes to your insurance down payment, if your credit is bad, then most people are like, oh, I gotta put like $700 down. It's not everybody. That's just people that have bad credit. Typically, it should be spread across evenly on your monthly payment. But then, if your credit is bad, the company was like, I can't trust you.